there are any doubts about the popularity of electric vehicles, new data from StatsCan should put those doubts to rest. It says sales of hybrid and fully electric vehicles hit an all-time high in the fourth quarter of last year. They now represent almost 10% of the market. Part of that higher demand is because prices are falling, and also there's a greater selection of cars to choose from. So who better to discuss all of this than Petrina Gentile, award-winning automotive journalist with the Globe and Mail. Great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start generally with the sort of uptake of electric vehicles, right? Clearly there's a greater adoption. What are we seeing out there?
Yeah, we're seeing definitely more people adopting it. And, you know, the last quarter of 2022, there was certainly the highest we've seen. It's still, you know, a small amount, though, when you look at all new car sales, but it is gaining momentum. And like you say, there are a lot of vehicles, electric vehicles that are coming in market, and everything from sedans to three-road SUVs to trucks.
Now, I have a decision to make, and I'm hoping the coming years, I think in my household it's the coming months maybe, about what new vehicle we're going to get. One question I have, and I think other people have, infrastructure issues, right? If everyone is plugging in, what does that look like?
Well, you know what? The infrastructure is a huge problem right now. We need more public charging stations, especially. Actually, today, Flow in Quebec, which is an EV charging company in Quebec, they just received a loan of $220 million to set up 2,000 fast chargers in Canada. And the fast chargers are really important. The fast chargers allow you to charge a car in about 15 to 20 minutes. And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of those in Canada. In Canada, you know, we have about maybe 20,000 charging ports, and the bulk of them are level 2 charging ports. So that would be similar to a dryer outlet that you have at home. And if you have a full electric vehicle, you can bank on spending at least 7 or 8 hours charging that vehicle. Yeah, so it's a long time. So there definitely needs to be more work to improve that infrastructure right across Canada before more people will jump on board.
Okay, so while people are waiting to jump on board, we have infrastructure questions. Let's talk about some interesting models that you can show us. So I understand you've been taking a look at a few lately. I'm not sure where we want to start. Why don't you tell me where we're starting?
Do you want to start with the Kia Niro?
We'll start there, yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting play. This is actually the 2023 model, completely redone. And it actually came out first in 2016, so they were a little bit ahead of the pack. And what they chose to do was introduce a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and a full electric, but they did no gas-only engine. It was only these 3 models. And what they did for 2023, they made the range longer, as well as, you know, added more technology. The range is still a little bit on the low side. It's around 400 kilometers when you're looking at the battery electric version. But you need to take into account, in Canadian winters, when it's cold, if you have the heat on or the air conditioning, all that depletes. And that, yeah, 400 kilometers will end up being closer to maybe 320 kilometers. But this has a decent starting price, you know, starts around $30,000 for the hybrid and all the way up to about 50, 52, 53 for the full electric.
Yes, Kia's offering also something from Hyundai, I believe the sister company of Kia.
Right, yeah, both South Korean automakers. This is the Ioniq 6. And this is interesting, too, because this is a sedan. And sedans have sort of fallen out of favor with many consumers. But, you know, Hyundai is going after Tesla and the Model 3 because they're really the only ones in the electric vehicle space that have a sedan. So this one is really quite unique, going after that market. It's available with rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive configurations. Depending on the model and the tire size, you can get anywhere from 435 kilometers of range to 580. So a much better range option. Prices start around $53,000, but they do qualify for provincial rebates where available and federal rebates as well.
Now, the 2 cars we've seen so far, when you say electric vehicles, that's what I sort of expect to see. I'm not sure what I'm going to see next. You had a chance to test drive the GMC Hummer. Tell me about that.
Yes, yes. This is an iconic name, right? You remember Hummer from the past?
Oh, so it's big. It's big.
Yeah, it's big. It still is. It still has that Hummer DNA, but this is an all-electric SUV, and it has 3 electric motors on the first edition models, 830 horsepower, 480 kilometers of range. You could go off-roading with this, and we did. But, you know, you still look at it environmentally, the footprint of this vehicle, it's a very heavy vehicle, and the battery itself weighs as much as a Honda Civic sedan. Wow. Yeah. And it's pricey. I will also say it's pricey.
How did it feel to drive?
Actually, it's amazing. Yeah, and it's quick. It has this watts to freedom launch boost where you just nail the throttle if you need extra power, and you are off 0 to 100 in like 3.5 seconds. And for a vehicle that size, it's impressive.
Next time you go for a ride, give me a call, right? I want to talk about the Ram as well. They're entering the fray a bit behind the competition, maybe?
Definitely behind the competition. They just showed the production version of the Ram 1500. This is their pickup truck, their first all-electric version. And when they first showed it a couple years ago as a concept, it was really bold and in your face, completely different in its design. And then we just saw the production model a couple weeks ago at the New York Auto Show, and it looks more like a Ram truck. So they're following in the footsteps of Ford that has their F-150 Lightning. It looks like a regular F-150 pickup truck. This one, like you say, is late to the party, though, because the Lightning's on sale. Cybertruck deliveries are expected later this year. There are new players like Rivian entering the market with their truck as well. So by the time this vehicle comes to market, it might be a little bit late. It's a 2025 model, and, you know, the Ford F-150 might be on its second generation of the Lightning by then, too. But they say it's going to have 800 kilometers of range and 14,000 pounds of towing capacity. So it's going to give the other competition a run for the money.
Fascinating stuff. Petrina, great having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Petrina Gentile is an award-winning automotive journalist with the Globe and Mail. That's all the time we have for the show tonight. Any comments or questions, or if you'd like to get in touch with an advisor, email us at moneytalk@td.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Greg Bonnell, and we'll see you next week.
The preceding paid commercial program was brought to you by TD Wealth.